Hello, I am the Chronicler. Welcome, or welcome back. Today is an amazing day. I hope you enjoy Chapter 5. Please give a like and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Chapter 5. The Edge of the Unknown. The mountain road twisted through the darkness, headlights piercing a veil of creeping mist. The wind tore between pines, skeletal branches clawing at the night sky. Damp pine mingled with the cold bite of the fog, an icy embrace draping the transport. The damp pine scent mingled with the cold bite of mist, wrapping the vehicle in a chilling, almost sentient embrace. Riley Farrow tightened his grip on the artifact, feeling its steady pulse thrumming against his fingers. The glow had faded now, but the unease within him had not. It was constant, like a gnawing presence at the back of his mind, urging him forward despite the dread coiling in his chest. Few would ever understand the weight of a single night on a road that seemed to lead nowhere, or perhaps everywhere. Inside the cabin, the air was thick with silence. Not the kind born of comfort, but of tension stretched thin over too many unanswered questions. They had left the university behind, yet danger had not loosened its grip. If anything, it pressed closer. The artifact had lain dormant for centuries, yet its resonance seemed to awaken instincts in those attuned to forces beyond ordinary perception. Ben Varga finally exhaled, his voice cutting through the stillness like a sharp blade. "All right, we need to talk about what just happened. Who the hell was that? And why did you ask how the figure knew your name, Riley?" Riley's jaw tightened, his bright green eyes shadowed by the memory of the cloaked figure. Linda Kiley reached out, her fingers brushing lightly against his arm, a small, steady touch that said more than words could. It was a silent promise, he wasn't alone. "I don't know," he admitted, voice low, as if speaking too loudly might make the truth more solid. He glanced at Linda, who sat stiffly beside him, her gaze fixed on the artifact as though willing it to yield its secrets. The soft glow of its intricate symbols played across her features, casting an almost ethereal light over her face. Her long black hair, tied neatly, framed her expression like a shadowed veil. Her hazel eyes, usually calm, now carried a strange mixture of curiosity and unease. "But they knew about the artifact," Riley added, the words heavy. "That's what scares me." Later, Linda would remember this as one of the first moments she fully grasped the weight of what they had stepped into. Holland Carter leaned forward, broad shoulders cutting into the dim cabin light. Shadows sharpened his already rugged features, his deep-set eyes locked on Riley, calculating, always calculating. "And let's not ignore the fact that figure shut our transport down like flipping a switch. That wasn't some cheap parlor trick." Even Carter, hardened by experience, felt a rare shiver slip past his training. Maya Patel, her knuckles white against the steering wheel, nodded but didn't speak for a moment. Her eyes narrowed in concentration as she focused on the road ahead, posture taut, as though bracing for the next unpredictable turn. "That's why we need to get to the Crucible." And yet, despite a career spent steering through crises, an unease threaded through her, a tremor she couldn't quite name. "The Crucible?" Linda asked, finally breaking her gaze away from the artifact. Her voice was laced with skepticism, and her eyes still held that quiet doubt, flicking toward the others as though seeking validation in their silence. Patel glanced at her through the rearview mirror, her expression unreadable. "That's what the researchers call the facility. A former military testing bunker, long abandoned by the government. It's where people like us, people who ask too many questions, go when the world isn't ready for the answers." Ben let out a short, nervous chuckle, his fingers drumming restlessly against the edge of his seat, eyes darting toward the dark tree line. "Great. So we're taking a world-altering artifact to a hidden bunker in the mountains where a handful of people secretly work on things they probably shouldn't? Yeah, that's not suspicious at all." "No," Patel replied, her voice calm but firm, the edge of command underlying her words. "It's the only option I know of." As they climbed higher into the mountains, the terrain became more rugged. The road wound like a serpent through the towering peaks, the trees thickening and crowding the narrow path. Their skeletal branches creaked and groaned, like the forest itself exhaling in warning, stretching toward the transport with gnarled hands. The mist swirled like tendrils seeking to pull them under, creeping along the ground and curling up the trunks of the trees, consuming the night in its icy embrace. Then, without warning, Patel slowed the transport. Ahead, barely visible through the fog, figures materialized, emerging like shadows given shape. 3 stood perfectly still in the center of the road, statuesque and imposing. Thick, tattered cloaks shifted slightly with the wind, as if the very fabric carried a silent authority. Their posture was precise, measured guardians holding an unspoken command over the space around them. Riley felt their gaze without needing to see their faces, weighty, unreadable, impossibly still. A deep, ancient instinct twisted in his gut. These were not ordinary men. Stillness defied wind and mist, unnatural calm that sent a shiver up his spine. Patel's hand hovered over the console, fingers tense. Everyone, stay put. Riley, hands visible, and stay calm. Before she could react, the lead figure lifted a hand, deliberate, ritualistic. The world seemed to hold its breath. A single measured step closed a fraction of the distance, a demonstration of presence, not aggression. Brace yourselves, Carter muttered, muscles coiled like a wound spring. The transport's lights flickered, the engine sputtered as if touched by an unseen hand. Riley felt the artifact thrum, pulse echoing the figure's silent command. Every step of theirs radiated precision, filling the clearing without haste, without threat, assertion, not attack. Riley's vision swam. Transport and road dissolved. He was elsewhere, someone else, but tethered by the artifact's insistent rhythm. Above, the sky split with fire. Shattered worlds tumbled in the void. Colossal, alien ships carved devastation across the heavens. Energy weapons streaked through stars, painting chaos. On a dying planet, massive beings clashed, figures of light and shadow locked in eternal struggle. Faces blurred, emotions clear, fury, sorrow, hope, desperate longing. The artifact's glow mirrored the battlefield, glyphs shimmering in rhythm with distant explosions. A whisper threaded into Riley's mind, ancient, urgent, calling him forward. This was not a distant spectacle. He could feel the weight, the pull, the burden of responsibility pressing through the artifact. A voice, barely a breath, whispered his name, an echo that stirred deep within him, both comfort and warning entwined. The violence mirrored turmoil in his soul, chaos outside, questions within. Then a jolt. Then tensed beside him, voice low, urgent. We need to move, now. Patel's fingers darted over the console. Engine refused. Lead figure paused mere feet away, presence anchored to the earth itself. Cloak caught the breeze, revealing glimpses of metallic armor etched with shifting symbols, their meanings lost to time. Command radiated from every line of their stance, unyielding, deliberate, authority itself. Riley's heart pounded. What do you want? The figure tilted its head, movements graceful, inhuman. Low, resonant voice cut through the night, you carry that which is not yours to hold. Carter stiffened, fingers tightening on his weapon. And yet we carry it, he muttered, voice taut. Without knowing the cost. Silence pressed in, suffocating, impenetrable. Patel shivered, Carter's hand twitched, instinct overriding training. The figure drew a small metallic object from its cloak, etched with glyphs like the artifact's, jagged edges glinting. You do not understand what you carry, it said, weight ancient and unfathomable. Others do. And they are coming. A chill crept up Riley's spine. Who? No answer. Another step, mist swirling like living shadows, dark tendrils reaching toward the vehicle. Controlled, fluid motion, cloak unfurled like wings, a statement of power, not strike. Energy rippled faintly, a silent reminder of potential. Move! Patel shouted. The transport roared to life. Patel slammed the accelerator. Tires skidded across damp road. Figures made no move to follow, but Riley felt their gaze linger, patient, calculating, aware. The Crucible emerged, steel doors set in mountainside. Riley exhaled, breath visible. The entrance loomed, safety, or fleeting reprieve. Once mighty security, now barely staffed. Entrance yawned like an abandoned relic. Some journeys demand unprepared steps into shadow. Heartbeats carried warning and promise. Ben clutched his chest, nervous laugh escaping. Okay. What the hell was that? No idea, Linda muttered, gaze lingering on the empty road. But they weren't here by accident. Riley looked back. The figures were gone. Yet he knew it wasn't over. The Crucible doors groaned open. Riley tightened his grip on the artifact. Chill swept the night. Beyond the threshold, unknown challenges testing skill, instinct, and resolve. The artifact pulsed quietly, steady rhythm echoing forces long dormant. This was no ending. It was an invitation. Night held its breath, patient and unyielding. And so, across lands and ages, these threads of truth weave together. The Chronicles await those who listen carefully. Stay connected to every revelation, subscribe, hit like, and journey with me as history unfolds.